I was born in Chicago and brought up there and had the advantage of all of the wonderful museums and Lake Michigan and the Goodman Theater and all of the things that I absolutely love doing in Chicago. I also had the good fortune to spend all of my summers on Cape Cod, which is where my mother and her family are from. And so in many respects I had the best of both worlds. I had the city life during the school year and I had the beach life during the summer months, which I absolutely loved. I was then fortunate enough to be admitted to Wellesley College and was able to spend even more time on the East Coast, which I absolutely loved. And from Wellesley, I came back to the Midwest and went to Indiana University School of Law for my law degree. I went to IU 10 days after I graduated from Wellesley, and I went straight through for 27 consecutive months. And upon graduation, I promptly went to the West Coast and began my employment at Pillsbury Madison and Sutro in California. My grandmother came to this country from the Cape Verde Islands, which are just off the northwest coast of Africa. She was not able to read nor write when she came to this country, and yet she valued education more than anything else. She made sure that all of her children were as educated as they could possibly be, and that her grandchildren received as much education as they could. I also think that she would be proud of the fact that her children and her grandchildren have done everything they could to follow the example she led of being very actively involved in the community, of giving back, of helping anyone in need. As little as she had, she was always happy to share. And that's a legacy that she's left with all of us. When my women friends hear me answer the question of what I most love to do by saying that I love to cook and entertain, they cringe. After all the years that women fought to get women out of the kitchen, and yet, quite frankly, I absolutely love cooking and entertaining. There's a clearly defined beginning and a middle and an end. And you bring all these happy faces together, and if you've done a good job, they're even happier at the end of the meal. And there's usually been good conversation and camaraderie that is experienced over food that I very much enjoy. When I'm not cooking and entertaining, I love to read, particularly mysteries. And culinary mysteries are at the top of my list. I'm just almost done with Diane Mott Davidson's Fatally Flaky, which centers around a caterer, and I absolutely love reading about food and the recipes that are in her books and in other culinary mysteries. I'm also reading a book by Kathleen Flynn that's about her experience as a former executive who goes to Le Cordon Bleu. So when I have time, I love to read books like that. And if I could, I'd go back to taking piano lessons in a heartbeat. I used to love to play the piano, but I haven't had a chance to do so for a few years. But maybe that's in my future. We'll see. When I have time, I love to travel, sometimes just for fun. Beach vacations can be very, very nice, but I also like going to other parts of the world where I am able to get a first-hand experience at how people live in various parts of the world, and to have traveled to South America and to South Africa and to other places such as those, and to see the extreme poverty and the conditions under which people live has given me a greater appreciation for the role that I and others can play in helping not only in our communities here in the United States but abroad to bring people out of poverty and to help people to be much more capable of sustaining themselves.